Hello everyone, welcome to Abhi's channel. Today we are going to see about Happiest Minds IPO is coming up. So initial public offering is coming very soon. So for that we have prepared a special video with valuation. So first we'll see what is the IPO, what are all the details. Then we'll see about the company a little bit. Then we'll get into the valuation. But before that, if you like our channel, if you like our videos, please like, subscribe, and share. At the same time, we have started an entertainment channel for purely for entertainment. So that is called Sin Boys. So please do subscribe to that channel and help us out. So this IPO, we'll get into the details first. So totally, the total number of shares are being issued in this IPO is 4.2 crore shares. Out of the 4.2 crores, around 3.5 to 6 crores is actually coming from offer for sale. One of the biggest partner, promoter, shareholder in this company, apart from the promoter, is the CMDB2, a company called CMDB2. It is a fund wing of JP Morgan. Even though the company, when you look into it, it is registered in Mauritius and some other details, but it is actually a wing of JP Morgan, and they are selling most of their stake from this company. That is why the offer for sale is around 3.5 crores. So rest of the 60 to 70 lakhs shares are only from the fresh issue. So most of this, the most of the shares sold in this IPO are offer for sale rather than the fresh issue. So basically, they are looking for a price of around 165 at floor price and 166 at the roof. So the total lot size, one lot size is 90, the 90 shares. So basically, you will have to chip in at least 15,000 rupees to apply for this IPO. That will be 90 shares, and you can go up to 13 lots. So basically, as a retail investors, you can invest up to 2 lakhs. So you can go up to 13 lots. The opening date of the IPO is 7 September. The closing date is 9 September. Finalization of the allotment is 14 September. Refund initiation, if in case you are not being allotted any shares, is 15 September, the next day. Credit of the shares to your demat account. It is coming on the same day as of refund initiation. Whoever is not getting the share allotment will get it refunded by the same day, as well as the whoever is got allotted will get their shares in their demat account on 15 September itself. IPO listing is on 17 September. So basically, as similar to other IPOs, not more than 75%. It's not like at least 75%. Not more than, only up to 75% can be given to institutional investors. You may already be knowing QIS, qualified institutional investors, or can have around 3.1 crore shares. Around 3.1 crore can, that is the maximum that can be given to the QIS. Apart from that, non-institutional investors will be there. They are neither retail investors, nor institutional investors. So those kind of people who are applying for more than 2 lakhs can have up to 63 lakhs. It is not less than 15%. So they have to give 63 lakhs of shares to those type of investors. In case it is not, the application is not up to that limit, they can give it to others. But still, it is a limit, that it is a minimum requirement. Also, for retail investors who are all like you and me applying up to 2 lakhs, they have to give at least 10%, which is 42 lakh shares. Now let's get into some details of the company, and then we'll look into the valuation. So Happiest Minds, from their website you can see it is a mindful IT company. Basically, it is also another software company. They are also providing IT services. But basically, apart from legacy services, mostly they look like they are providing digital age, like websites, mobile apps, cloud-based services, and all those kind of digital new age era of services. They are not concentrating much on, from their website and their prospectus. It is look like they are not concentrating much on the legacy application. They are looking into majorly into the new age applications, like mostly digital services. So if you can see, their businesses, digital business services, product engineering services, agile infra and security services, internet of things, analytics, digital process automation. We'll get into each of them later. And their industries are like airline, automotive, banking, consumer packed goods. Almost to whatever the big players in this industry are serving, this company is also serving those players and those industries. So their major business units are digital business services. This is like helping the companies to get onboarded onto digital business services. Like some of the companies may be having old technologies or old platforms that are, that are obsolete now at this point. So those companies who are using old technologies, they are helping them to transform themselves, migrate themselves into digital services like cloud based computing and all those things, websites, new apps and all those things. They are helping them to transfer from their legacy apps, old apps, to digital new age, that kind of an experience for their customers. Product engineering services, like specifically for a specific kind of product for an industry, like banking product or for an insurance, they are catering for the specific industry. So the next line of industry is infrastructure management and security. Like other industries, software also requires hardware as well as software infrastructure. Like the way that the software is being the structured, and the way the data is being communicated, all those things will require a proper infrastructure. They are giving that kind of service also. Then if you see, apart from that, they are working on internet of things. Internet of things is nothing but the things will talk to themselves or communicate themselves without the intervention of humans. So that kind of services they are providing. Analytics and artificial intelligence, this is also without the interference of humans. Analytics is like they providing a research capability. Like if the company is in need of some suggestion, like what kind of offers it can make from the data, the software itself will give you some recommendations, like this kind of people are using these kind of services, so you can offer something like this. And again, digital process automation, any back office process or already that process that is highly human involved, they are going to automate those processes. So basically this is the business, this is the business divisions. We'll get into the revenue of each of the business divisions. You can see from here, like their major revenue is coming from digital infrastructure and cloud business. So basically from the infrastructure services they are providing, they are getting major revenue. Then next is SaaS. SaaS is software as a service. They are providing softwares on the cloud, not like selling them for license, like software as a service. So that is also, apart from that, the other industries are contributing, but these are all the major two contributors, around 60 to 70%. When we look at the industry level revenue, edutech, like new age educational apps and websites like Baiju and all those things, are, and as well as for the already existing educational institutions and other service providers, their major revenue is coming from edutech as well as high tech. High tech is nothing but cutting edge technologies in all the industries. So these two are the major contributors for them. In general, if you see, most of the bigger companies will be concentrating on BFSI, business, banking, financial services, and insurance companies, as well as the other major companies. But since they are competing for a less known area, that is one of the advantages they can have. So with that in the mind, let's get into the valuation of the company. Happiest Minds as of now are having 14 crore shares. This is before the IPO. And their current ask price is 165 rupees. Current price in the sense I am putting their floor price. So market capitalization will be around 2300 crores. When we look into their asset based calculation, we generally do not do the Buffett calculation because we will not have proper details. Their income from operations from the recent financial year is 698 crores. Expenses is around 629 crores. So around 10% they are taking as income before tax. The distributable cash flow, income after tax, is around 46 crores. So along with that, if you see, their excess cash is around 137. They are having excess cash of, cash in hand around 390 crores, and their liabilities is around 250 crores. So basically, they can have around 137 crores as excess cash. Their borrowings is also meager. 91 crores is nothing. We can even ignore it because they'll be paying it off in this one. Maybe they are collecting the IPO for that also. Even in that case, their valuation is coming around only 53, but their ask price is around 160. So basically, if you remove the liabilities also, it is coming around 171 only. So in any case, doesn't look very attractive to us, but this is just our analysis. You will have to do your own analysis because we are not SEBI approved investment advisors or research analysts. Please do your own analysis before taking any decision. Do not take any decision only based on this. If you like our videos, please like, share and subscribe. At the same time, we have started entertainment channel called Synboys also. Please support there and subscribe. Thanks for watching the video.